And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lloyd with the Wednesday, June 22nd edition of the CBC Evening News. And our top story, Prime Minister Fundell Stuart has vowed to lead from the front as Barbados experiences the latest in a spate of violent crimes. In fact, he says he is very concerned about the role violence seems to be playing in the resolution of disputes at certain levels of society. Prime Minister Stuart was speaking to the media after the graduation ceremony for 44 students of the Reynold Weeks Primary School at the Barbados Workers Union Labour College. He says these acts do nothing for the island's reputation, and he is not pleased with seeing life devalued in cold blood by a small element of society. The Prime Minister says the issue is not one for just the government or opposition alone, adding that all Barbadians have to be willing to do what it takes to keep the small minority from making life difficult for the majority.
These people have the courage to fight for what they want, to lose their lives for what they want. What they want is the wrong thing. Those of us who want the right thing have to be equally determined to fight for it as well, and to risk our lives if that is necessary. But you can't have a segment of the society willing to lose their lives, to fight to lose their lives, to do the wrong thing, and we who are interested in doing the right thing go and hide in some corner, unwilling to fight or afraid to fight. We have to fight back in the society, and as Prime Minister, I am prepared to lead that, because I don't think that that direction for this society is going to pay off in the long run.
And at that graduation, Prime Minister Stuart said Barbados won't progress and prosper unless children are guided in the right direction.
The graduates entertained Prime Minister Fundell Stuart and the other specially invited guests in song, dance and choral speech. When he took to the podium to deliver the featured address at his alma mater, Prime Minister Stuart had strong words for the parents. He notes there is a section of society which apparently cannot settle conflicts without using guns, and he told parents to keep a close eye on their children.
Understand that the most precious possession outside of life itself you can have is the opportunity to mold the mind of a child. Only the highest standards are going to do if Barbados is going to successfully navigate the next 50 years of its independence.
He also told them to discourage the children from taking shortcuts in life.
We have to inculcate the ethic of hard work and personal sacrifice. Do not tell your children that you don't want them to pass through what you had to pass through, because they can't. The world in which you lived as a youngster has long gone, and that world is not coming back. And in any event, what you had to pass through has made you what you are today.
Well, the Prime Minister also had some words of advice for students, whom he told to aim for excellence, make wise choices, consume carefully, and treat everyone equally. He's also pleased that the principal in his report did not single out individual performers. Mr. Stuart told the students, regardless of the school they attend, they have equal opportunities to perform well.
Do not allow anybody to confuse you with the view that if you didn't get into the school of your first choice, that you have failed. None of you in this graduating class this morning is a failure. All of you have an opportunity to be the best that you can be.
44 students graduated from the Reynold Weeks Primary. Wangari Doughton was the top performing student. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Organizers and promoters of events are being encouraged to increase their security and awareness. It's coming from Police Public Relations Officer, Acting Assistant Superintendent David Welch, while speaking during a gun destruction session. Mr. Welch says in light of recent events, they should not be afraid to search patrons, especially women.
Do not be afraid to search patrons. Do not be afraid to search handbags, etc. of patrons, because we know that women do assist in bringing these firearms into these facts. I'm not going to go back. We know that that is a fact.
Yeah.
So we need persons to be aware of these trends and to act accordingly.
The gun destruction session was carried out with a machine donated by the Regional Center for Peace Disarmament for Latin America and the Caribbean. Some guns destroyed included handguns, rifles, and 9mm. Acting Commissioner of Police Oral Williams says, considering the number of deaths by firearms in Latin America and the Caribbean, it is important that the guns are destroyed beyond repair.
What we are doing here this morning is destroying weapons that came into the possession of the police, and the whole idea behind destruction of these weapons is to avoid their being used further in crime, because one of the things the United Nations has been focusing on is leakages from storage, whether it be the police, security guard agencies or defense forces and so on.
Well, the length of time it takes the court to hear matters of child sexual abuse is deterring some parents from going forward with cases. Senior Child Care Officer with the Child Care Board, Colin St. Hill, alluded to this during a panel discussion on masculinity and sexual abuse hosted by Action for Justice at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center. He was among 3 panelists who examined the topic.
Some parents make a conscious decision. I will not be losing my day's pay after 4 years. Because this is exactly what they have to go through. Each time the child has to be taken away from school. And it go on and on and on. And then what happens is, by the time it gets before a jury and so on, the jury sees a little child who was 8 years old as a big woman now. How can you? And they can never understand that this 15 or 16-year-old or 18-year-old person allow, and that's the words they might use, allow. Not that they were taken advantage of, because they're not seeing a vulnerable, innocent person anymore. And there lies part of the problem.
Meantime, Government Senator and Attorney-at-Law Verla De Pisa says child sexual abuse in Barbados is not solely carried out by men, but sometimes women.
I have seen examples, well, fortunately only one example in my practice, where the female was sexually abusing the child. And of course, those of us who pay attention to the international news will know of several instances where teachers are facing charges, female teachers are facing charges in relation to their male students. Now, I don't want us also to get bogged down, since we're talking about masculinity, about heterosexual sex, because let's face it, any complexion on the sexual orientation scale can lead to sexual abuse of a child.
And Communication for Development Specialist at UNICEF, Dr. Lisa McLean-Trotman, is telling Barbados that transactional sex involving minors is also child abuse.
This is where we have the adult having sex with the underage child for gifts or for money. I don't know how many of you would have remembered Captain Sawyer's song last year that caused so much controversy, Something for Something, that maybe you do know, maybe you don't know, but that was one of the calypsos last year that led to a bit of controversy. So that, like I said, transactional sex.
Opposition leader Mia Motley is calling on Barbadians to make their voices heard in tackling the issues facing the country. This as the Barbados Labour Party moves to the next stage of preparations in realizing their manifesto as outlined in their Covenant of Hope document. Ms. Motley says while the BLP may have some ideas on the way forward for the country, rebuilding of Barbados is going to require the input of all Barbadians.
Barbadians have not necessarily been afforded the opportunity to have the level of participation in the formulation of policy for a political party before, as we are opting to do, and therefore we will work with Barbadians until it takes time to change a culture, and we believe the time has come. We cannot continue to educate people and treat them as if they are only to be spectators of their fate, rather than being firm craftsmen of their fate.
And the BLP will be hosting interactive sessions beginning with the People's Assembly, a series of parish consultations beginning tomorrow at the Foundation Secondary School. She says it will also have their Rubbing Shoulders program to gain input from those involved in the sugar and non-sugar agricultural sectors. Ms. Motley says special focus will be placed on the 18 to 35-year-old age group.
We are particularly concerned about those in the 18 to 35 age group, many of whom have received an education, but many of whom are either not working or are underemployed. There are people with master's degrees doing things that you would normally find somebody with little or no CXCs doing, largely because there is not a lot of opportunity out there.
Well, everyone wants to own a piece of the rock, so to speak, and one lucky Barbadian will do so at the end of this year's Crop Over Festival.
That's because Capita Finance and the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union have launched the Lot 5 for 50 promotion. The competition, which celebrates Barbados's 50th anniversary of independence, will give a plot of land to a lucky resident. The launch of the promotion was held on the 4,300 square feet of land that will be given away at number 5 Deanstown Terrace, St. James. Culture Minister Stephen Lashley says he is excited, highlighting that the initiative empowers people.
It is about party, yes, it's about Kadooment, but it is much more than that. And we want to signal by having this component of Crop Over launch and marketed to Barbadians that we are also serious about empowering people. It's about transforming the psyche of Barbadians, even during Crop Over, in a way that is meaningful for them.
The hope is the promotion will encourage more people to get involved in Crop Over, and Chief Executive Officer of the NCF, Cranston Brown, outlined how to enter.
The back of the ticket you would have your name, address, telephone numbers, email address, and as you enter the event you put it into the box, and at the end of the season we would have, we are planning a pretty big draw, probably televised, to make sure that it's transparent and everybody sees. So that is how we will go about choosing the winner.
Chief Executive Officer of Capita Financial, Paul Maxwell, says the initiative is significant to the company because it will change someone's life.
We know that this is an initiative that transcends a lifetime, transcends a person's lifetime. In other words, whoever wins Lot 5 Deanstown Terrace in James actually can pass this to someone in the family, right? So this means a lot. It means a lot to Capita Financial.
The winner must be 18 years or older. Lisa Bloom, CBC News.
And stay with us, we'll have more news in just a moment.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial star 153 number sign to sign up to Digicel today.
Eskimo, value, convenience, we got it. 50 stores and services, yeah, we got it all. When it comes to you and your family, it's here in Haggett Hall. Style, food, court, this mall has it all. Eskimo, right here in Haggett Hall. Eskimo, convenience for the family. Eskimo, everything for you and me. Eskimo, right here, yeah, yeah. When it comes to you and your family, it's here in Haggett Hall. Style, food, court, this mall has it all. Eskimo, Eskimo.
Representative of the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, or ICA, Ina Harvey, says Barbados must be careful when importing certain foods. She is cautioning the island not to fall victim like other countries which are only aware of recalled products after they have been consumed. Ms. Harvey was speaking at the Marriott Courtyard during a workshop on food traceability and recalled legislation in the Caribbean. The ICA representative also raised concerns in connection to recent reports about the recalling of tuna and last week's talks about the illegal importation of chicken wings. She also says food security is of utmost importance and plays a vital role in the tourism industry.
Somebody who gets sick from eating a product or having a foodborne illness in a country puts it on the net, and the tourism, not only of the country but of the entire region, is affected.
One outspoken Parent Teachers Association president is blaming a parenting crisis for the recent increase in deviance among the island's youth. He is president of the Charles F. Broome Memorial Primaries Association, Mr. Parry Marshall, who made his comments at the school's recent graduation. While he praised the parent for the school's continued success, he challenged them not to abandon their commitment to their children.
We are scaling up our advocacy.
I apologize for the unavailability of that extract. However, still to come, we'll look at some of the stories making headlines across our region.